Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over and comparing 3 of the good early game weapons, mid game weapons to late game, and telling you which ones are the best, which ones you should go for, and comparing them and contrasting them after the strength nerf. If you guys do enjoy today's video, please consider subscribing, it'd help out a lot. And it's free, you can always unsubscribe later. It'll help you out because I do a bunch of guides, whether that's on money, weapons, minions, whatever it is. It'll help you out a lot to subscribe. Check Discord link in the description if you want to. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm going to be comparing 3 weapons just to show, but mainly 3 weapons: boomerangs, flower of truth, and livid dagger. Now the reason I'm comparing these 3 are because after the strength nerf, so basically speaking, first I should probably explain what the strength nerf is. Strength used to be a stat that was a lot more valuable, as strength in the damage calculations for damage actually added stats to the damage bar as well, not just strength. However, they took that away in the strength nerf, causing your damage with anything strength to be decreased significantly. What this means is strength is now, it's still useful, don't get me wrong. However, it is now less useful than it was before. Meaning any weapons with high strength, such as base strength, that's flower of truth, with a base strength of 300, or boomerangs with a base strength of 150, really got nerfed, because strength no longer became as important of a stat to game for, and crit damage became a little bit more important as well. So I'm going to be comparing the difference between all 3 of these weapons. First, let's go into the cost. All these weapons have similar yet different costs. First, let's start off with livid dagger. A base livid dagger costs 7.3 mil. A base flower of truth with no enchants on it costs 3.9 mil. And a base boomerang costs, never mind. A pretty maxed out boomerang with solar to 3 and 5 stars costs 6.4 mil. There is no clean boomerangs. So, prices changed a lot. Boomerangs used to be 50 mil, now they're 6 mil. I'm very sad, but that's besides the point. All the prices have lowered. However, they're all underneath 10 mil for a base weapon. I'm going to be comparing all of these weapons together against these zombies. They all have very similar stats. Boomerangs have very similar stats. They've got max, enchants, spiritual, swarm 5. These don't have any ultimate enchants, but again, recombobulated, fabled. Pretty even enchants overall. There is some differences, but pretty even. I'm wearing 3/4 Necron, Ancient Tara Helm, and a level 85 Griffin. First, let's start off with the Flower of Truth. Flower of Truth does 110k, 118k, 111k, anywhere from 110k to 130k or 25k ish, right? 110k to 130k. Next, onto the boomerang. Boomerang front hit does 127k. Livid dagger front hit does about 100k. Yeah, it does about 100k front hit with livid dagger. Front hit with boomerang does 125k. Back hit with livid dagger, if you would stand still, does 220k ish. Again, fabled may vary the results. However, it does about 210k. Around the 200 to 210k range. Off rip, you can notice a couple of things. Livid dagger is substantially better in single hit than the flower of truth. There's no denying that. I mean, it does what, like 10-20k higher on front hit than livid dagger, but livid dagger also has, its back hit, which absolutely clowns on the flower of truth. The flower of truth base hit does not have the best stats, so if you're trying to kill mini bosses, flower of truth will get rolled by the livid dagger. However, flower of truth also did get a buff for this update. It's not huge, but it is a buff. So instead of its ability, it increases damage the more enemies it hits. So I'm gonna try to get 3 enemies close together just to show you what it means. But you can see I hit for 70k, 140k, 220k. You can pause it if you need to, but those are the numbers. So flower of truth for bosses again sucks because you're never gonna use that. But for clearing, it is still a viable weapon. As Jerry Shingun got nerfed out of Oblivion, Jerry Shingun is now garbage. You can shoot like 10 shots, and then you're done. So for clearing mobs to do bosses, Flower of Truth is still a viable weapon. As it costs like 4 mil, you don't need to max that one, and it is still one of the best ways, especially as the aiming enchant is gone and doesn't really work that well. So what this means is Flower of Truth is one of the only ways to clear mobs. Besides Hyperion, Valkyrie, and all those weapons, Flower of Truth is the only way to efficiently clear mobs in dungeons, or just to summon mini bosses like Revenants, Ender Slayers, whatever it is. So Flower of Truth does still have value, however, it gets outclassed heavily by the Livid Dagger. Now going to the Boomerang. Boomerang back hit hits for 250k. So back hit, Boomerang does do more damage than the Livid Dagger back hit. So Boomerang, again, got very much so nerfed. However, if you're doing an archer class, these actually aren't bad weapons until you can afford like the Juju short bow or any of the new bows that came out that cost like 80 mil. As these cost 10 mil per, you can buy 2 of them, and for boss fights, they are still decent. Again, none of these weapons are irrelevant. People are still going to be using these weapons, as they all got cheaper, meaning newer players to the game are going to be picking them up instead of the Aspect of the Dragons or other weapons like that. Now for the rankings of what I would rank all these weapons. If you were to buy one of these 3 weapons, buy the Livid Dagger. Livid Dagger is the best out of these 3 by quite a long shot. Like, nothing's really close. Yes, Boomerang does have very similar damage to Livid Dagger. However, it's really hard to get a back hit with Boomerang, even more than Livid Dagger. Especially since in bosses, I mean, it can be useful to have one of these in Switch, but it's just not that viable. You can't use Boomerang. You cannot use an only Boomerang to do boss fights. Like, if this was a boss, I could not use one Boomerang to clear a boss fight, while I could with Livid Dagger. Highest placement goes Livid Dagger. Buy this weapon. It is a very good weapon. Flower of Truth in Boomerangs, I'm going to put at tied, honestly. Flower of Truth has the ability to clear mobs and bosses extraordinarily quickly. It is the best clearing weapon in the game right now. However, there's not much use else besides that if you can afford a better weapon. You can still do bosses with it, however, you're going to get so outclassed by Livid Dagger. Not even including the 100% bonus attack speed. It gets so outclassed. And same with Boomerang. Boomerang is good for bosses if you're Archer, however, you need like 4 or 5 of them to make them work. And for dungeons, they are still viable. However, you're not going to use Boomerangs to clear that much. And if you only have 1 Boomerang, you can't really use it to do boss fights. So if you can get like 2, 3 Boomerangs and then have a secondary weapon you can hit with, that has to be extremely viable. Buy Livid Dagger first. If you have enough money and want to buy a good clearing weapon, buy Flower of Truth. And then if you're Archer, buy Boomerang. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing. It'd help out a lot. I want to hit 1k subs by the end of this month, so I need help to do that. And without further ado, I'll see you guys next one. Peace.